All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call to order the Canton Township Board of Trustees meeting on November 12th, 2024 at 7:01 PM. Clerk Seekers, can you please take roll call? Oh. Make sure we're all here.
All right, Trustee Borninski.
Good evening.
Trustee Snyderman.
Oh, wow, going right to me. I'm here this evening.
Treasurer Slavens.
Good evening.
Supervisor Graham Hudak.
Good evening.
Let the record reflect that Clerk Segrist is in attendance. Trustee Foster. Good evening. And Trustee Ganguly.
Good evening.
Thank you.
All in attendance.
Thank you. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Michael, are you okay if I make this motion and a few others?
By all means.
Okay, thank you. Madam Supervisor, I move we adopt the agenda as listed.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman, supported by Trustee Foster. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Okay. Under presentations, recognitions, and formal resolutions, our first one is for MI India, which we actually approved at a previous meeting, but we would just like to present it to MI India here we are honoring them for 25 years of service to the Canton community. Where's it not? There's a not. Please come up. Thank you. So this would be, so the 25th anniversary of MI India, and we read this into record, but we wanted to make sure that we voted on it, because what if we didn't vote on it, then we couldn't give it to you. But we did vote on it. So Anand, congratulations.
Wonderful.
Oops, I sat in that.
Only been 12 years.
Okay, can I have a motion by somebody to add a resolution for Stephen Snyderman? We're going to pass it around. It starts down there.
Who's going to read it?
We're all going to take turns.
Oh. My
Go
mom
ahead,
makes
Tanya,
the
go
motion.
ahead.
Resolution of Board of Trustees, Charter Township of Canton, Michigan, resolution in recognition of Stephen Snyderman. Whereas Stephen Snyderman moved to Canton in 1994 with his wife, Kelly, and they raised their daughters, Maggie and Emily, here. Whereas Stephen has almost 20 years of experience as an elected official, including 12 years on the Canton Township Board of Trustees.
Whereas Stephen has dedicated much of his life to volunteering, serving as board president of Fox Run Homeowners Association, board president of the Plymouth Canton Cruiser Swim Team, co-president of the Salem Swim Boosters, Partnership for the Arts Board member, treasurer of the Plymouth Community Arts Council Board, and deep involvement with the Canton Community Foundation Board of Trustees, treasurer, vice chair, and currently chair.
Whereas Stephen gave an abundance of time to the local school district by first joining the district housing committee, then taking it a step further by joining the PCCS Board of Education, where he served for 6 years, acting in the roles of secretary, treasurer, and president, leading the district to the first balanced budget in over a decade, maintaining that solvent budget for the last 5 years of his term, chairing the curriculum committee, chairing the finance committee, supporting bonds to build a new middle school, creating an alumni outreach program, and joining the Educational Excellence Foundation.
Whereas Stephen's focus as Canton Township trustee has been on quality of life, he helped create the responsible contracting policy that was formally adopted as part of Canton's purchasing policy, teamed with other board members to create and implement our new road program, pushed for the water tower that helped to finally stem the annual increases to reduce the price of water, and worked to double the funding for paths and sidewalks in Canton, sorry.
Whereas Stephen championed the Human Rights Ordinance in 2014 to ensure all citizens of Canton are treated equally, and also worked with fellow board members to add diversity training for employees and create the Coalition for Inclusive Communities. Whereas Stephen was inducted into Canton's Hall of Fame in 2019, now therefore be it
Resolved that the Board of Trustees is thankful to Stephen Snyderman for his exceptional service to Canton Township and wishes him the very best with all of his future adventures. Motion made by everyone, supported by Clerk Segrist. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. We have a few other people here. So we'll start with our State Representative Ranjit Puri. If you'd like to please go to the podium. Steve, you want to go up there, Stephen?
So Steve and I have a good relationship. It's founded in a lot of humor. It's really hard for me to be serious and say nice things about him. So I'm going to try my best.
Might be a trend in that.
But clearly you know how to fill a room because a lot of people really like you. And so I'm not alone in wanting to share these remarks. Stephen is someone who has meant a lot to me, just as much as he's meant to Canton Township, just as much as he's meant to the state of Michigan. I walked in on some of the remarks that were being said. I think it's no secret to anybody how much you've dedicated your life to public service and making the community better and our state better for everybody. There's very few people that I've come across in the world of politics that command this type of respect that Stephen Snyderman does, because he's been doing this for a very long time. As things have gotten more and more divisive in our world and in politics, he's found a way to continue to give back to the community. With your work with the foundations, your work with schools, your work with just, I guess, bettering the community in so many ways, it really sets you apart. Your departure is going to be a loss for our community, but a gain for your family to get some more time. And so I know these things aren't easy for you and for those around you. And so I do want to thank your family for lending Stephen for such a long time to us and the amount of work that you're able to do. And so with that, it's my honor to present Stephen a special tribute on behalf of the state of Michigan for the enrichment and everything that he's done for not only Canton, but the entire state of Michigan. And so with that, thank you so much for your sacrifice. Thank you for doing everything you have, and best of luck in all of your new endeavors, and ensure you're going to be very successful in everything that you go on to do.
Thank you, Randy.
Don't leave yet, Ranjeev. Now we have another presentation from Alexa from Congresswoman Dingell's office. She's in Washington, D.C.
Yes, unfortunately, they're back in session today, so she could not be here. But we just wanted to give this to you in recognition of your service and your dedication to the Canton community.
Alexa, you must read it all. Alexa has to read it all. Okay. All right, Stephen, read it all. Stephen, come to the front. Everybody wants to take a picture with Stephen. Come on up to the front. We're going to take a big picture. We'll stand behind you. Family, have anybody? Yeah, we'll stand. We'll stand with you. Okay, we'll stand with you. We'll stand behind you. I guess.
Families.
Your family can stand with
Yeah, let your family stand with you.
Yeah, Kelly,
Kelly, get in the
Kelly,
picture.
get out here.
Ethan can take it.
Here's your other, you want to hold this for him?
Funny ears. Yes, Anne Marie did.
No, something. No, something he would do to everybody.
Oh, yeah, sure. Can I say a few words now, Anne Marie?
Oh, sure, you can say some words, I guess.
Might take me a minute here. There's a few people to thank, so.
You want to stand at the podium or up here?
No,
Or?
as soon as I find my glasses.
Aw.
All right, I wanted to say a few words just to thank everyone. Thank you all for attending my last meeting as Township Trustee. Of course, it's bittersweet, but I am excited for the next chapter of my career in community service. And I'd like to take a moment to say a few thank yous, so allow me some grace for a few minutes as it's my last time. I may have such a forum to speak directly to you all. Of course, the first thanks is to my wife and partner in life, Kelly Loria. You are an inspiration to me, a person with a good heart, impeccable character, and a kind soul. Thank you for helping me fulfill my desire to serve the community the last 20 years. It's a privilege for me to be sharing our life together, and I look forward to years of exploring the globe with you. To our daughters, who I think are on Zoom, from New York, Maggie and Emily, thanks for always keeping me on my toes and reminding me to think with a global conscience. Along with your partners, Michael and Richard, you make me hopeful for the next generation of leaders in this world, and I'm proud of how you are working to change it for the better. We look forward to seeing you in just a few weeks. To my parents, Ed and Elaine, who were here the first time I was sworn in 12 years ago, and again tonight, thank you for bestowing upon me a strong sense of giving back to the community, as you yourselves each have done the last 60-plus years. It's been great having you nearby these last 10 years, and you are strong role models for me and everyone else in this part of town. I love all of you. To the employees of this township, I thank you for the hard work and dedication you deliver every day to the people of this community. You made it easy to govern because we knew you were always prepared and ready to turn any ideas we had, no matter how crazy, into reality with great success. Specifically to the leaders of the administration, some of whom are here tonight. Deputy Supervisor Joe Halver, you have set the standard for delivering on the role of Chief of Staff that we had envisioned when we created the role a few years ago. Thank you for your dedication to our community. It's been great working with you and getting to know you. IT Director Victor Abegbu, who is not here, but I would like to say with your team, you have done a fantastic job modernizing the technical infrastructure of a complex community government. I'm glad you chose to join us. I have enjoyed our technical discussions over the last few years, and I wish you and your team well going forward. Municipal Services Director David Norwood, thank you for the compassion you bring to the job, ensuring that the infrastructure of Canton remains strong, and you and your department's vision and ideas how to deploy state-of-the-art solutions. I'd like to give an additional shout out to Patrick Sloan, who has been a great resource as we work through the township planning process. The dynamic duo of Public Safety Directors Chief Chris Stockline and Chief Chad Baugh. I am thankful for the visions you each have for keeping our community safe. You made partnering with you both on personnel and capital improvements in your departments very easy decisions, and I'm proud to have been a part of it. Your teams are both so well respected in and outside our community, and it has been fun working with you and talking sports with you both. The other lively duo of Greg Hohenberger and John Lefevre have shown me the fun side of municipal government. I absolutely love the ways you reach out to the community and deliver on wonderful programs for our citizens. Your organizations are the forefront of making Canton a welcoming community, and I'm very proud how you and your staffs handled things during the pandemic. It's been a pleasure working with both of you. Only one person who is not here tonight, but who was sitting in these soft seats when I arrived 12 years ago, and she'll continue sitting in them, I'm sure, long after I'm gone. Our finance director, Wendy Trumbull, I have to say, she wins. But seriously, thank you to Wendy for how she handles the fiduciary responsibilities of the township. She and her staff make it quite easy for a trustee to feel comfortable making budgetary decisions whenever there are new programs we want to implement, or equipment we want to purchase, or buildings and facilities we want to renovate. So to you and the rest of the directors, I wanted to say I have appreciated all of your friendship over the years, and I would like it to continue going forward. And now to my fellow trustees. This is going to get ugly. I don't think anything I can say will accurately reflect the affection I feel for all of you, but I will try. Supervisor Anne-Marie Gran-Hudak, you have shown that vision for growth in our community can be delivered with compassion. I appreciate how you govern that way. It has taught me to be more thoughtful in my official interactions, and I appreciate that. I also have enjoyed learning about your vision for our community and integrating it with that of the whole board. And I also want to thank your staff, specifically Amy Houston, Amy Hamilton, Kristen Thomas, Gavin Beckford, Christine Furcalo, and Emma Kramer for their support over the years as well. Treasurer Diane Slavens, I've said this in public before, you are the heart of our community. We all care for our residents, but you have the unique ability to make people feel like they are the most important person in the room. I appreciate the work you have done to automate your office, and thank you and your staff for great work in improving processes over the years. Clerk Michael Segrest, if Diane is the heart, you are the spirit. I've never seen someone as excited about government as you, and that is contagious. I love your energy and vision for our community, and you know how to get things done, breaking through mounds of red tape. I really respect that about you. I look forward to new innovations from you and your team in the years to come. Trustee Tanya Ganguly, I've enjoyed our developing friendship over the last few years. It's been nice to have someone else with a corporate background on the board to be able to discuss concepts and issues from a business perspective. While we all care for the diverse groups in our community, you excel at reminding us that our decisions are not made in a bubble and may have impacts on different people in our community, and for our different impacts for different people in our community, and I thank you for that. Trustee Summer Foster, you amaze me. Your ability to bring people together for a cause in such an effective and meaningful way is astounding. You are a rising star on the national scene, and I'm so proud of that. But I'm so glad you're still grounded here in our local world. If I can ever be of assistance in the work that you are doing, please don't hesitate to call. And if you need me to knock a two, I'll do it for you. That's an inside joke, sorry. Trustee Kate Bordinsky, I've enjoyed sharing the end of the dais with you these last 4 years. You're like a real older sister to me, and I thank you for that.
You mean younger sister?
Another inside joke. Seriously, you have been a very good friend over the years and a good listener when things were confusing or tough, and I thank you for that. The community is lucky to have you as a representative. To the person who will be taking this seat, Amara Ansari, you are a welcome addition to our community leadership. While I know you will represent all the residents of Canton, it was important for me that the person who completes the board after I leave be someone, for the first time, that represents a significant portion of our population. And it was never lost on me the truly global importance of the first Jewish trustee of Canton being replaced by the first woman Muslim on this board. I wish you well. Keep your sense of humor. It's a valuable thing in this job, even if you're not quite as funny as me. She will have something to say to me about that afterwards. To our national and state elected officials, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell and Haley Stevens, State Senator Dana Paul-Hankey, State Rep. Ranjiv Puri, and County Commissioner Melissa Daub, who sent me a note. Unfortunately, her dog went across the Rainbow Bridge today, and she did not think she could attend, but she wished me well. Thank you so much for your partnership over the years. It's been wonderful getting to know you all and exciting to work on projects together. I look forward to more of that in different capacities going forward. As for my friends in attendance and those that couldn't make it, thank you for your support over the years, both in my campaigns and while I was a member of this board. I hope I have served you well and made you proud as a friend. Specifically, I'll call out Christina Baer, Nancy Eggenberger, also Summer and Kate, Mike McDermott, and Julie Rowe, who directly helped me run my various elections, and I can't pay them back enough for their knowledge and assistance in getting me elected. Also, thanks to Ethan Petzold and the whole Canton Dem Club. I've learned so much about public service and what it takes to do it effectively from many of its members. It's been nice to have a community of people who are invested in your success behind you. To the residents of Canton, whom I've served for almost 2 decades, first on school board and most recently on this council, I thank you for putting your confidence in me all these years. I know this is not my chair I sit in, but the community's chair. I hope you think I've given it the respect and thoughtfulness that our community deserves. I'm glad that we have moved Canton forward for more than a decade. I would like to give quick shout outs to 3 of those citizens, George Miller and the McCausland brothers. Gentlemen, I admire your passion for this community, and I thank you for the interest you show. Yes, at times for the entertainment when you come to the podium. We've agreed at times and not so much at others, but I've always listened and tried to take your input into consideration when decisions were being made, and I wish you all well. My apologies if I missed anyone. Finally, to sum up, I'm not going to talk about accomplishments because frankly, I believe what we have done the past 8 to 12 years speaks for itself, well representing our focus areas of welcoming community, quality infrastructure, organizational culture, financial stability, and healthy ecosystem. No, instead, I'll make it more personal. 20 years ago, at the age of 40, I was someone who had recently been sent from the office environment I had worked in for 13 years to work remotely from home. I had gone from an office full of friends to an empty house. Kelly still worked at an office, and we didn't even have a dog back then. I spent my days alone, occasionally talking on conference calls, and I was a bit lonely. So with Kelly's encouragement and willingness to watch the girls alone a few nights a week, I started volunteering. And while I'd like to be able to stand here and say my primary purpose was to make a real difference in the community and be an agent of change, I honestly really just wanted to make friends. To know people in my community and have them know me back. My parents were small business owners where I grew up, and I love the feeling of knowing people when you ran into them at the bank or restaurants or the supermarket. Well, after more than 20 years of this ride of volunteerism and public service, I can actually say mission accomplished. Roll out the big banner. I feel honored to know all of you, and it's really added layers to our life here in Canton, where I can say I know lots of excellent people from many different backgrounds who are my friends. I feel a real sense of community around me and Kelly. I'm glad I took that first step more than 20 years ago, and I encourage anyone who's looking to extend your circle of friendship to start volunteering. With that, I'm just going to say, see you around. I promise I'll still be here working on committees and charitable causes and looking to make a difference with all my friends. Thank you very much for being here tonight. And I want to get to the bar, so thanks for stopping. Thank you. Thanks for the time.
Ranjit left. I was going to say you didn't take a picture with Ranjit, but he left. One thing Stephen didn't mention.
Oh, yeah, we did get a picture.
Oh, did you
I
get a
thought,
picture?
yeah.
Got it? Okay.
Emma got one, I think.
He always mentions this, and he didn't mention this. Stephen has a Harvard degree.
I do?
He usually mentions it, so. Thank you, Stephen. I don't know how we can top this. The rest of the meeting's just going to be boring. And we do have Emily and, oh, your other daughter just logged off, but they were both on. Maggie was on, but she's gone. Oh. Very nice. Thank you. Oh, we're going to miss you, Stephen.
Oh, I got to get back to the meeting. Okay.
Next on the meeting, we have board and commission reports, the Youth Advisory Council update. Clerk Segrist? Do you want to introduce them in the back? Did you guys want to come up here, or?
They can talk from back there. I
Okay,
think,
yeah.
as
Do
well.
you want to give a youth update?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
Hi.
Sure, it's close.
Can't see her, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much for having us. My name is Neha. I'm one of the your youth delegate to the Board of Trustees. I'm also the YAC president this year, and this is my second year on YAC.
Hello, my name is Rohan Ramkrishna. I'm also a part of the Youth Advisory Delegate to the Board of Trustees, and this is my first year on YAC.
So for the 2024-2025 YAC year, our first meeting took place on Monday, October 7th. We have 15 members, 6 are returning and 9 are new.
This year, we've made a few new appointments to our executive office, known as our president, vice president, and secretary. In addition to this, Neha and myself have been appointed to serve as delegates, along with Richard Wu for Leisure Service Advisory Committee and Miles Dupree for Commission of Culture, Arts, and Heritage.
So we recently had our October newsletter published, which I have some copies here, and our next publication is going to be in January.
And we also had our first DEI Board of the Year, which was known as Dia de los Muertos.
So we also had some questions regarding the RBAs. So for RBA number 9, our question is, how will the implementation of a full-time inspector position, in contrast with outsourcing them, affect the budget? For number 10, how will the construction of the Preservation Park Pavilion affect traffic to the farmers market? 15, if the board is purchasing 2 smaller snow removal units instead of 1 large one, how would they handle efficient cleanup of large roads?
And for number 17, we asked, would the 15 years of required service be only applicable to those who have served in Canton Township for 15 years, or it can be any township? Would these years also have to be consecutive? For question 18, it's how will Canton Township be able to communicate these wages to increase to the public? And for 20, what was the main feedback or concern that prompted the review of this ordinance?
Those are all the updates we had for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we have the public comment on agenda items only. So public comment on agenda items, please come to the podium, and you can have public comment for 3 minutes on agenda items. Please state your name.
I do have 2
Oh.
public comments that I am supposed to read.
Okay?
If anybody else wants to make a public comment, but these are the ones that were sent to me. Dear Canton Township Board of Trustees, although I'm unable to be with you in person tonight, I am deeply honored and grateful for your consideration to reappoint me to the Canton Township Planning Commission for an additional 3-year term. Your trust and confidence in my abilities are truly humbling, and I am excited to continue serving our vibrant community. For 22 years, Canton Township has been a remarkable place for my family, and I to live and work. The thoughtfulness that goes into planning our community is one of our greatest strengths, fostering innovation, creativity, and mutual understanding. I would like to express my sincere administration for our newly re-elected Canton Township Supervisor, Anne-Marie Graham-Hudak. Her leadership, vision, and dedication to our community have been instrumental in guiding Canton Township towards continued growth and prosperity. Supervisor Graham-Hudak's commitment to inclusive governance and sustainable development aligns perfectly with the goals of the Planning Commission, and I look forward to working closely with her, the Planning Commission, and the entire Board of Trustees in the coming term. As we look to the future, I am excited about the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead for Canton Township. With a growing population and evolving needs, and role of Planning Commission has never been more critical. I'm committed to leveraging my experience and expertise to help shape our future, Township's future, ensuring that we maintain our high quality of life while accommodating growth and change. Once again, I extend my heartfelt thanks to the Board of Trustees for this reappointment consideration. Your support and trust inspire me to work even harder for the betterment of our community. I pledge to continue serving with integrity, dedication, and deep respect for the diverse voices that make Canton Township such a special place to call home. Sincerely, Brian Watkins.
Thank you.
You're welcome. From Brian Watkins. And then, dear members of the Board of Trustees, this is the second one. I am writing to express my sincere gratitude for considering my appointment to the Canton Cares Fund Advisory Committee. I am honored and excited for the opportunity to contribute to the important work of this organization. I'm committed to serving the committee and the city with dedication and integrity. If appointed, I look forward to working collaboratively with the board and staff to ensure the continued success of the fund and its mission. I believe my experiences both in the for-profit and nonprofit sectors can greatly help the fund succeed and charter a path to long-term sustainability. Thank you again for your confidence in me. Sincerely, Andrew A. Graves.
Thank you. I do have one online. So it's listed as VJ. So VJ, you want to go ahead for 3 minutes?
Nothing else, thank you.
Vijaya, want to go ahead?
I do not have anything, thank you.
Oh, okay, your hand's up, okay. All right, no problem. Anyone else in the room? Agenda items only? Okay, all right, thank you. Now we move on to the approval of the minutes.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the minutes from October 22nd, 2024.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by trustee Brunensky. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Now the treasurer's report, payment of bills.
Madam Supervisor, I move that we pay the bills on November 13th, 2024.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by treasurer Slavens. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Now could I have a motion for the consent calendar?
Yes, you can. Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the consent calendar containing the following. Item C1, consider awarding a contract and purchase order to upgrade and refurbish the entry sign for Victory Park. C2, consider awarding a contract and purchasing order for the HVAC replacement of the HVAC unit at Pheasant Run Golf Course. C3, approval of the payment of the annual software license fees for CarryWorks on the online document management system. C4, consider approving the amended Michigan Mutual Aid Box Alarm System Association agreement. C5, consider awarding a contract and purchase order to replace the UPS batteries at the admin building. C6, consider approving the renewal of Next Request FOIA software. C7, consider approving the renewal of Lefta system software. And C8, consider approval of a purchase order increase for dealer auto parts.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by trustee Ganguly. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. The next one is the general calendar. Consider reappointments and a new appointment to the Building Board of Appeals.
Madam Supervisor, I move the reappointments of Daljit Benipal, Daniel Gurman, Ronald Pennington, and Sandra Montgomery, as well as the appointment of Timothy Sarb to the Canton Building Board of Appeals for 2-year terms to expire on 12/31/2026.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by trustee Foster. In 2022, the Board of Trustees adopted a capital improvement plan which included projects 220026 to upgrade and, okay, that's not it. I'm sorry, the wrong one came up when I pressed on that form. Back. One, general calendar. Oh, there we go, okay. So Daljit Benapal, Daniel Gurman, Ron Pennington, and Sandra Montgomery are seeking a reappointment to the Building Board of Appeals following the expiration of their terms. Canton's Building Department works with the Building Board of Appeals and has reported that all 4 members have provided excellent service and have good attendance. Additionally, the Boards and Commissions Interview Committee met with Tim Sarb and recommends him for a spot on the Building Board of Appeals as well. Does anyone want to make any comments? Summer?
Make a brief comment. I think the first 8 items that we are considering tonight are appointments and reappointments to various boards and commissions. I just want to note that Trustee Bordenski, Supervisor Graham Hudak, and I spent a lot of time interviewing various candidates for all of these boards and commissions. We have some really talented, incredible people in this community, and I just want to give a blanket thank you to everyone who applied for our boards and commissions, and thank you for everyone who serves, and look forward to getting these folks involved and engaged in our community.
Great. Anyone else? Kate, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Trustee Foster, and just wanted to add that we had so many great candidates. It was really hard to make choices, and everyone who interviewed was very good. And so I hope that you will, keep in touch and possibly apply again if another opening comes.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item, consider reappointment and new appointments to the Canton Cares Fund Advisory Committee.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the reappointment of Joyce Jones and the appointments of Quendale Simmons and Andrew Graves to the Canton Cares Fund Advisory Committee for the 3-year terms that will expire on 12/31/2027.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman and supported by Clerk Segrist. Joyce Jones has served on the Canton Cares Fund Advisory Committee and is seeking reappointment following the expiration of her term. Township staff who work with the committee report that Joyce has provided excellent service and has good attendance. Additionally, after meeting with multiple candidates, the Board and Commissions Interview Committee recommends Quendale Simmons and Andrew Graves for membership on the committee. Questions or comments? All in favor of the appointment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item is consider reappointment and new appointment to the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Council.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the reappointment of Ethan Petzold and the appointment of Susan Kopinski to the Canton Community Development Block Grant Advisory Council for 3-year terms to expire on 12/31/2027.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman, supported by Trustee Bordenski. Ethan Petzold's term with the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Council will end on 12/31/24. Canton's Finance Department works directly with the council and reports that Ethan has provided excellent service and has good attendance. Additionally, after meeting with multiple candidates, the Board and Commissions Interview Committee recommends Susan Kopinski for membership on the council. We also have Ethan. Would you like to say anything? Okay. Okay. Anyone on the board? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item is consider appointment to the Commission for Cultural Arts and Heritage.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the appointments of Padmaja Malpur and Sandra Centanello to the Canton Commission for Cultures, Arts, and Heritage for 3-year terms that will expire on 12/31/2027.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman, supported by Trustee Foster. This is After meeting with multiple candidates, the Boards and Commissions Interview Committee recommends Padmaja Malpur and Sandra Centinello to fill 2 vacancies on the Commission for Culture, Arts, and Heritage. Any questions or comments?
I think Padmaja is in the.
Would you like to say something?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on the board? All in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next, we have consider reappointment and new appointments to the Downtown Development Authority.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the reappointments of Mark Waldbauer and Seth Kleinglass, as well as the appointments of Baminipian Patel and David Guastella to the Canton Downtown Development Authority for 4-year terms to expire on 11/30/2028.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman, supported by Trustee Berninski. Mark Waldbauer and Seth Kleinglass, who have served as members of the Canton's Downtown Development Authority, are seeking reappointment following the expiration of their terms. Canton's Economic Development Manager works directly with the DDA and reports that Mark and Seth have provided excellent service and have good attendance. Additionally, after meeting with multiple candidates, the Boards and Commissions Interview Committee recommends Bahitmandin Patel and David Kuasdella for membership on the DDA to fill 2 vacancies. Any comments from anyone? I think online we have Seth, did you want to say anything?
No, just thank you. That's about it. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Seth, where are we? Next, we have consider reappointment to the Merit Commission.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the reappointment of James Moon Dupree to the Canton Merit Commission for a 6-year term to expire 12/31/2030.
Support.
Merit Commission, here we go. James Moon Dupree, who has served on Canton's Merit Commission, is seeking reappointment ahead of his term expiration at the end of 2024. Canton's Human Resources Department works directly with the Merit Commission. They report that James has provided excellent service and has good attendance. Any questions or comments?
I would just like to say that, James or Mr. Moon Dupree has been a huge asset to the township, just specifically the clerk's office. With the help of Human Resources, we would not have been able to administer the 5 elections we did this year without the Merit Commission helping us ensure that we get participation from individuals from all of the departments in the township. So really grateful. I think he's a very thoughtful individual who is very helpful and has done a lot to support my office and just the community as a whole.
Very good.
He's a good man, but specifically a huge asset to the clerk's office on the Merit Commission.
Very good. Anyone else? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next, consider reappointments to the Planning Commission.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the reappointments of Don Zuber and Brian Watkins to the Canton Planning Commission for 3-year terms to expire on 12/31/2027.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman, supported by Treasurer Slavens. Don Zuber and Brian Watkins, who have served as members of the Planning Commission, are seeking reappointment ahead of their terms expiring at the end of 2024. Canton's Planning Department works directly with the Planning Commission. They report that Don and Brian have provided excellent services and have good attendance. After interviewing several candidates, the Board and Commissions Interview Committee recommends reappointing Don and Brian to the Planning Commission. Any questions or comments? No?
Can make a break. Just briefly, I've served with both Don and Brian for the last 4 years on the Planning Commission. They are both dedicated, and Don as an architect, and Brian and someone who deals with development on a daily basis, have brought a lot of information and knowledge to the Planning Commission, and so happy to support their reappointment.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Consider a reappointment and new appointments to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the reappointment of Aaron Tassel as well as the appointments of Karen Walther and Jeffrey Malad as alternates to the zoning boards of appeals for 3 years terms that will expire on 12/31/2027.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by trustee Ganguly. Aaron Tassel, who has been serving as a member of the Canton Zoning Board of Appeals, seeks reappointment ahead of his term expiring at the end of 2024. Canton's Planning Department works directly with the Zoning Board of Appeals. They report that Aaron has provided excellent service and has good attendance. Additionally, the Board and Commission's Interview Committee, after meeting with several candidates, recommends Karen Walther and Jeffrey Hussein Malad to fill alternate vacancies to the board. Any questions or comments from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. The next item is consider approval of one temporary full-time inspector position for the building department.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the temporary addition of one full-time inspector position for the building department.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by clerk Segrist. Let me see right here. The building department is seeking to add one temporary full-time inspector to primarily service plumbing inspections. Currently, the building department is operating short-staffed due to multiple short-term disabilities. The building department is seeking to add one full-time inspector to be staffed appropriately and accommodate the high-volume workload. Based on the timing, it is anticipated this position will start in 2025. Director Norwood, do you want to add anything?
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. A couple things I want to follow up some of the questions from the Youth Advisory Council. So we do use, on short-term basis, we contract out for services for inspectors. Early on in some of these issues, we had to do that. But our idea is now there's 2 inspectors we believe are going to be retiring soon. So we're just getting ready for that situation. They're off right now too on short-term disabilities. That's why it's a comparison between the two. It is more expensive to use outside third party for inspection services.
Okay.
But it works for short term.
Any questions or comments? Kate?
Yeah, not actually related to this, but I just wanted to thank Director Norwood and some of his staff for answering several questions that I had.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item, consider awarding a contract and purchase order to perform historical restoration carpentry work at Preservation Park.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the contract and approve a purchase order for Decima LLC in the amount of $179,661 for historical restoration work at Preservation Park.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by clerk Segrist. In 2023, the Board of Trustees accepted the Wayne County Cherry Hill Village Town Square SLFRF project funded by the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, state and local fiscal recovery funds. The grant was to help preserve and restore historical sites here in Canton. The existing wood throughout the site is overdue for some restoration. Over time and with being subjected to the elements, the wood is beginning to show signs of age and have soft spots. Director Norwood, do you want to add anything?
Yes, thank you, Madam Supervisor. I would also like to address some of the questions from the Youth Advisory Council about construction and impact on the farmers market. There's a lot of things going on in Preservation Park, so we're working closely. Director Lefevre might have more comments on this, but we're making sure that all the farmers market goes as best as it can.
Yes, and we also moved it during the restorations. We've had it at basically the Village Arts Factory. And it should be done before we reopen, is that correct?
We expect to, yes, that's our plan.
Yeah, that is correct, yeah. We're looking forward to hopefully completing the project by spring, so it's underway, and I know we've got the next agenda item as well to talk about that. But yeah, we're looking forward to having the market move back out there and having a beautiful farmers market pavilion to host it in every week.
Questions or comments from the board? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. C11, consider approval of a change order for Preservation Park construction.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the use of contingency funds stated in the budget implications section of the RBA to the Summit Company for the regrade and stone of the existing pathways at Preservation Park in an amount not to exceed $18,715.10.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by treasurer Slavens. In August 24, the Board of Trustees approved a bid award to the Summit Company for the construction of the Preservation Park Pavilion, which included a contingency in the amount of $194,425.80. While the Summit Company was laying foundations and landscape, staff noticed that the adjacent pathways surrounding the historic buildings on the property needed additional care. To take advantage of the timing and mobilization of the project, staff solicited a quote from the Summit Company, who provided a cost of $18,715.10 to regrade and stone the existing pathways at Preservation Park. In following the Township Finance Policy F11, Construction Management Change Order Capital Project Budget and Approvals, this request was not part of the original scope and is over the $5,000 threshold. Therefore, we are seeking board approval of a change order in an amount not to exceed $18,715.10 funded through the established contingency for the regrading of the existing pathways at Preservation Park. Director LaFever, do you want to add anything?
Just that construction is underway. We're excited to be able to add the new pavilion. And as we kind of got into it and working on all the different structures that are on site there, a lot of the historical structures, and working on a lot of the rotted wood and different things as part of those structures, it just makes sense to kind of touch up a lot of the walkways and paths that are out there as well. It's been a long time since they've been done. There's a lot of erosion that's occurred. So we just felt like it'd be a shame to open a park that's gotten a lot of TLC over the season and have walkways that are not, and walkways that are in disrepair. So while we've got equipment out there mobilized, ready to go, we thought it'd be a great time to do it in an efficient manner and have the park ready to go come spring.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Michael?
I would just like to say, especially with a new board member coming on, I would love to revisit that finance policy that requires the board to approve any change orders over $5,000, specifically ones that are already covered in the contingency of an already approved purchase. I think when you've got a board meeting with 28 agenda items, it's probably time to start looking at some of our policies around how we conduct things, what our thresholds are, because $5,000 out of a township that has over $140 million budget, when you factor in public safety, is it's a little curious, might be a little antiquated. Might be time to look at those numbers.
Anyone else?
So this is, so John, this is like where the farmer market is, or like it's supposed to be? Like it's just stone, like, it's just unpaved area, right? So I'm just curious as to what pathways are we talking about?
Yeah, so if you can think back to when the barn was there, even recently, the paths that connect some of the smaller structures, like the Canton Historical Society barn, the larger pole barn that's there, those paths that kind of go down to the front of that barn and then come back up to the house. So it's all the walkways in and around the barn, the house, and the other structures.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And it's a real compact, finite, I can't think of the term, but it's a real hard-packed, ADA accessible path surface that really needs to be kind of reset every so often. So this will take care of that.
Thank you.
John, you're going to do a study session on Cherry Hill Village in the near future?
Yes, yeah, first of the year.
First of the year, okay.
Anyone else? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item G12, consider approving the purchase of workspace and office furniture.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the purchase of workspace and office furniture in the amount of $31,918.91 from Kentwood Office Furniture utilizing budgeted forfeiture funds.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by trustee Brudzinski. The police department is requesting to waive the bidding process and purchase new and replacement workstations, office furniture for multiple offices in the public safety building from Kentwood Office Furniture in the amount of $31,918.91. Budgeted forfeiture funds will be utilized for this purchase. Kentwood Office Furniture has previously outfitted 85% of the building's furniture, and the department is requesting consistency for this purchase to maintain a cohesive look with the same models and styles of office furniture and workstations throughout the newly renovated building. Director Bowd, do you want to add anything?
I can answer questions, but the one thing I've been reluctant over the years of making this move, but the furniture in some of the offices are been worn out. I think we were just talking before the meeting, I believe it's about 25-plus years, the one office, so some of the furniture is worn out.
Thank you. Anyone? Questions or comments? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item G13, consider approving payment of Police Academy sponsorship for 6 candidates.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the payment for sponsorship of 6 candidates to the Schoolcraft College's Wayne County Regional Police Academy in the amount of $41,792.55.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman, supported by Trustee Foster. The Police Department is requesting payment for sponsorship of 6 candidates to the Schoolcraft College Wayne County Regional Police Academy. All 6 recruits are scheduled to graduate in November 2024 and will immediately start their full-time police officer positions with Canton. The cost per candidate ranges from $6,958.93 to $6,972.29 for a combined total expense of $41,792.55. Academy expenses will be submitted under an MCOLS grant requesting allowable reimbursements to the department. Director Bao, do you want to add anything?
I think it's important to note when you hear that RBA, this will help us pay for the academy, but also right now the governor's office has approved reimbursement. So we'll submit the grant reimbursement with the governor's office and receive the funding.
They had a great ceremony the other night, too. Kate?
When are they going to start?
Tomorrow morning, the fire chief and I have a swear-in of, I believe he has 4 and I have 6.
Wow.
They're going to be sworn in, so.
Nice.
What does that bring you up to?
After the next few weeks, I can defer to our HR manager who's in the room, but our goal is to be in January at 105, which you approved at the
105.
last meeting.
Great.
Okay, Summer?
Just congratulations. Great job on recruitment, Chief.
Thank you.
But when they were up there graduating, Canton got all kinds of awards. They kept saying, the winner of this is Canton, and the winner, it's
That's
just wonderful.
Yeah, very fortunate. We had a great group. We can attract some of the top talent in the state, so we appreciate what you've done.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item G14, consider authorization to purchase new cardio and strength equipment.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve a purchase order to Direct Fitness Solutions for cardio and strength equipment at the summit of on the park in the amount of $71,819.52.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman, supported by Treasurer Slavens. Requests for proposals were solicited in October 24 for new cardio and strength equipment for the Summit on the Park Fitness Center. From the solicitation, 4 fitness equipment providers submitted bids: Direct Fitness Solutions, All Pro Fitness Things, Design to Wellness, and Fitness Superstore. Of the 4 submissions, Direct Fitness Solutions was the only vendor to offer pre-core equipment, a preferred make by the Summit users. Therefore, Leisure Services is recommending to purchase all strength equipment, 4 treadmills, 2 ellipticals, and 1 commercial bike from Direct Fitness Solutions for a total cost of $71,819.52, which is in the budget. And just to let everybody know, these are due to them being older pieces of equipment and worn, and we used them, a lot of them during COVID also. Director Holmberger, do you want to add anything?
Happy to answer any questions, but I would like to congratulate Trustee Snyderman and point out that you've been here with us so long, I didn't need these glasses to read my screen back when we started this with you.
Well, thank you for upgrading the equipment, because that's what I'll be doing during retirement, so.
Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. G15, consider approval to purchase snow removal equipment for Canton parks and sidewalks.
Oh, that's me. Hold on. See, I made it all the way to 15 without making a mistake. All right, hold on. Madam Supervisor, I move we approve submitting a 2025 purchase order to Weingart Supply Company for 2 snow removers for a total cost of $63,253.70.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by treasurer Slavens. The Parks Maintenance Division is seeking approval for the purchase of 2 Ventrac snow removal units through Sourcewell Provider, Weingart Supply Company, for a total of $63,253.70. The 2025 CIP is budgeted to purchase 1 large Ventrac snow removal system. However, the Parks Department is recommending to purchase 2 smaller snow removal units, allowing staff to have a sidewalk clearing piece for the summit on the park, Administration Building, and Heritage Park, and a second unit for the southwest quadrant of Canton covering the Cherry Hill Village area, the Dog Park, Independence Park, and ZB West Nature area. Director Holmberger, do you want to add anything?
Just want to answer the question from the Youth Advisory Council about purchasing 2 smaller units instead of the larger one. When we say it's a smaller unit, it's smaller in terms it's the same size sidewalk clearing unit as what we currently have. It's just smaller in terms of the amenities that the staff using the unit will have. They'll no longer have an enclosure, so they'll be out there a little chillier, have to buy them some extra hats and gloves. But this will give us some flexibility, especially with the expansion of all the new sidewalks and such that we're going to have out in Cherry Hill Village, give us a little more flexibility to have a unit out there and address some of those pathways and sidewalks a little bit quicker.
And these don't cover, we don't use these on the roads. These are just for sidewalks.
No, we don't clear any roads. The only thing we clear is sidewalks, pathways, and parking lots.
Questions or comments from the board?
Does it clear former trustees' sidewalks and driveways?
Fortunately, no. That was one of the options with that was on the larger unit, but not the smaller.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah, Director Hohenberger, I noticed that you're asking for 2 of the snow sweep or snow brooms, but only 1 of the snow blower attachments. Is that going to be sufficient?
Yes.
Okay.
Any others? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item G16, consider approval of wage increases for part-time employees for the 2025 fiscal year.
Madam Supervisor, I move to approve a 2.5% wage scale increase for part-time employees.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by trustee Clerk Segrist. Okay. The part-time wage scale underwent significant revisions and modifications in 2022. A significant component of the modification was to ensure that part-time staff could be retained, and inflationary adjustments were made at that time. As approved by the board on February 22nd, 2022, the part-time wage scale will be tied to annual wage increases applied to the non-union classified employee merit wage scale. However, this year, the non-union classified employee group underwent a comprehensive market analysis and job classification review. The review resulted in an overall overhaul of the non-union classified employee wage scale, and several items were addressed for merit employees. Therefore, since the township revamped the part-time wage scale in 2022, and the rates of pay remain competitive, a 2.5% wage increase is recommended for the part-time wage scale effective January 1st, 2025. Deputy Supervisor, do you want to add anything?
No, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Our Human Resources Manager, Rochelle Howell, is also here as well.
Rochelle, would you like to add anything? Any questions or comments? Tanya?
Yeah, I was part of this group that, worked with the outside company. And I think our Human Resource Department and the other merit employees that were part of the group did a great job in selecting, and it went through a step-by-step process. And I think with our, the Merit Commission, the standards that we reviewed last year, and this year with the salary scales that were reviewed, I think we reduced the gap of reviews by like 20 years ago. We did all these reviews. So I think this is a good start. And as I was talking to Rochelle, she said, we'll come back to these documents at a 5-year time, which is, I think, the general thing that people usually do with human resource positions and documents. So I think I just want to commend Rochelle and her department and all the Merit employees that took part in this process.
Else? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. 17, consider approval of a retirement notification incentive for the Merit Employee Group.
Madam Supervisor, I move we approve the request to pay a $1,000 retirement notification incentive for merit employees who submit a written notice to retire to Human Resources 3 months prior to their anticipated retirement, and a $2,000 incentive for merit employees who submit their request to retire 6 months prior to their anticipated retirement. Furthermore, the merit employee must meet all conditions as outlined within the RBA.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman, supported by Treasurer Slavens. The township greatly appreciates the service of the Merit Employee Group. Their dedication to the township and their diligence and work is recognized. The township also believes in providing excellent services to the residents, which is accomplished when there is mentoring, planning, and continuity in soon-to-be vacated merit positions within the township. Given the value that merit employees bring to the township and the knowledge base that they hold, it is imperative that the township receives as much notification as possible when a person plans to retire to create a succession plan for the position in the affected department. Therefore, a $1,000 incentive is proposed for any merit employee who submits a written notice to retire to the Human Resources Division 3 months prior to their anticipated retirement, and a $2,000 incentive is being proposed for those who submit the notification 6 months prior to their anticipated retirement. Deputy Supervisor, do you want to add anything?
No, but I'm happy to answer any questions. I do want to take a moment, though, to answer the YAC questions that were posed about this agenda item. The 15 years of service requirement to Canton, both consecutive and inconsecutive time, counts towards the years of service requirement. Time that you have from other government service does not count towards your Canton time. This is discussed in Canton's merit policy, along with the age and years of service requirements, which are written into the policy. And we'll write that language into the updated policy to make sure it's consistent across the township.
Michelle, do you have anything to add? Questions or comments? Diane?
I'd just like to make a comment. I think this is wonderful. As our employees do retire, giving an opportunity to hire somebody prior to somebody leaving and training them and getting them to know the job, especially whether they're coming from outside or internally, and preparing them as a smooth transition. I just think this is a wonderful opportunity to have this option for our employees when they're deciding to retire.
Anya?
Yeah, I agree with Treasurer Slavens that, this will really help us in the transition and the succession planning, because that is a very important part of when we are, the wealth of knowledge that needs to be transferred from the employee that is retiring. This will greatly help us in doing that.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item, consider approval of wage increases for merit full-time non-union employees and full-time elected officials for the 25 fiscal year.
If you're keeping score, we have 3 motions left. Madam Supervisor, I approve a 5% across-the-board wage scales increase for merit employees and full-time elected officials for the 2025 fiscal year. I approve the new non-union classified wage scale in each position outlined on the salary scale in the grade that it is classified effective January 1st, 2025. Furthermore, I approve the full-time elected treasurer and clerk be compensated consistent with grade 223, step 3, and with annual increases, and the township supervisor be compensated consistent with grade 223, step 5, with annual increases.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Snyderman, supported by Treasurer Slavens. Throughout 2024, the Merit Employee Group underwent a comprehensive market analysis and job classification review by an independent consulting firm, Management Advisory Group International, MAG. The last study was done over 22 years ago in 2002. As a result of the market analysis and job classification review, MAG recommended a 5% increase for all merit employees. Additionally, MAG overhauled the salary structure that yielded an expanded pay scale with pay grades of 201 to 223. Furthermore, the steps on the scale were extended from 10 steps to 15 steps. Deputy Supervisor, do you want to add anything?
I would just echo what Trustee Ganguly's already said about the MAG process and her previous comments. This was a comprehensive study undertaken by a professional advisory firm. They surveyed multiple communities in the Metro Detroit area. They also surveyed private sector data to come up with a recommendation for what competitive salaries in our merit group would look like, as well as what a revised grade and step scale should look like in Canton Township. I think everybody who participated in the process was very pleased with MAG's professionalism, their experience, and the product that they produced.
Thank you. Rochelle, do you want to add anything? You want to go to, let's go to the microphone, sorry, so they can hear you. Thanks.
Should have had you sit here anyway.
Yeah, just sit there.
Just a few items. Certainly, we thank the board on behalf of all the merit employees for taking the time to invest in our merit employees in this way. This certainly had been a long time coming, and certainly appreciate the board's time and trust in getting this particular project completed. So thank you for the investment. Also, with the merit employees, this addresses several issues that the township had, and so we certainly appreciate having the opportunity to look at this in a comprehensive way. This will certainly address some retention issues that we have, be able to keep people for a longer period of time. It also helps with our workforce development. And so we certainly thank, again, the board for all of that, and the merit employees are very pleased with the outcome of the study. It certainly was a comprehensive process that has occurred over this year, and it has turned out to be a very good product, which will be helpful to the township.
Yes, they redid that. They made sure that the job descriptions really fit the job, because some of them were kind of combined from previous years. So they really did it took about 4 months, didn't it? 4 or 5 months.
Yes, we've been working on it for quite a long period of time this year. So thank you.
As well as the committee. Tanya?
So Rochelle, I understand that the next project is going to be looking at the benefits. Is that the next step in this process?
Yes, ma'am. So Trustee Ganguly, you are correct. The next process will be looking at the benefit component. We completed the administrative manual. We've done the comprehensive study for the merit employees, and now we'll look at the benefit component of it, and we will also follow up and look at the policies as well.
Anyone else? Oh, there was a question about wages to the public, and these are...
Yes, I can address that. So all of the wages will be posted on each of the postings that we have for our jobs. So as a part of the postings that go out to the public, we do post those. In addition, this information can be found on the Canton Township website, as it is public information.
Yeah, I would just add, it's the information's on the community-facing transparency dashboard, which is on the Canton Township website, along with all of our other expenditures, which is a part of our priority-based budgeting process.
Kate?
Sorry. I just wanted to thank everyone who worked on this project, because it's really important to, keep our talent and also to remain competitive. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Stephen?
I would just add that this board, 8 years ago, when it really took over, and especially 4 years ago, we saw that our government seemed to be running the way a government ran in the 1980s and 1990s with a similar structure. And I feel that this is just really the completion of that transformation of our municipality into one of the 21st century. And in addition, the world changed since before the pandemic 5 years ago. And you have to really attract talent with good salaries and good benefits, and this makes that change. We've done it for our union employees, and now we're doing it for our non-union employees, and I think that's very important. So thank you all for working on it, Tanya, Rochelle, and everyone else.
Thank you. Diane?
Yeah, I want to echo what both have said. Thank you for all your hard work. I know it took a long time, and I especially appreciate adding the 15 steps to keep people here longer. We've got great talent, and we want to keep our folks here, keep our great employees. So thank you for your hard work.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Number 19, consider approval of a resolution adjusting part-time salary for 4 township trustees.
Madam Supervisor, I move to approve a salary adjustment for Canton Township's 4 trustees to $19,850 in 2025, and the associated budget amendment, increase revenue fund balance appropriation $28,400, increase expenditures, salaries, and wages appointed $28,400.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman, supported by treasurer Slavens. Canton Township's 4 trustees serve the Canton community with energy, integrity, and distinction. Canton's trustees attends 24 scheduled board meetings annually and up to 20 meetings each year to study critical community issues, debate and decide policy, and work with staff on administrative, operational, and directional goals. Over the past 14 years, wage adjustments for the trustees have averaged less than 1% annually, which has not kept up with the cost of living. An adjustment to the base salaries of Canton 4 trustees is being requested to bring their salaries in line with peer communities throughout western Wayne County, as studied. If approved, the adjusted salaries of Canton's 4 part-time elected officials would be $19,850 in 2025. Deputy Supervisor, do you want to add anything?
No, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Stephen, you had worked on this?
Yeah. So with the work we've done in the past year and a half on salaries in the community, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that the only group left that has not gotten a raise, and by not received a raise, I will say in essentially 15 years, is actually the 4 trustees that are sitting up here. And while it's very uncomfortable to vote on a raise for elected officials when you're the elected officials, it's also important to ensure that we keep attracting quality people to the position. So we did a study and took a look at communities around us and also what the raises were. Essentially, the salary for this position is the same as it was when I started 12 years ago, and it hadn't changed years before that. So if you had just done a cost of living increase for this position over those 15 years, the salary would be around $20,000 a year instead of the just about $13,000 it is now. Other communities all pay in excess of $20,000, and these communities will still be higher than what we pay here in Canton. Westland, Van Buren Township, Sumter Township, Ann Arbor, and equivalent, once the raise, if it is approved, would be equivalent to what Livonia pays, what Ypsilanti pays, what Macomb Township pays. So I think it's very important that we recognize the work that's done by people who sit at this dais. It's not just the hour or two or three that we sit here during these meetings. It's multiple committees, it's study sessions, it's being out in the community, and I think it's important that we approve this increase, which effectively would mean that everyone in the township would have gotten an increase, except for me. So that's why I'm offering an amendment to back pay this to. So that's it. I'll also be able to answer any questions if there are any.
Just kidding about the backpack.
Yeah.
Any comments? But as you can see, even Stephen, talked about serving on this to work on this issue and the next one, and then everybody works on other issues other than the normal day-to-day board meetings. All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next, item 20, consider first reading of amendment to Chapter 54 of the Canton Code of Ordinances entitled Peddlers and Solicitors.
This is our last motion of the evening.
Just the first motion.
Just read the first motion? Okay, thank you. I move to introduce and hold the first reading of amendments to Chapter 54 of the Canton Code of Ordinance entitled Peddlers and Solicitors.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Snyderman. Oh, I was going to have to go another place for this. Supported by clerk Segrist. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Canton Township's peddlers and solicitors ordinance is overly broad, which may subject it to constitutional challenges in the future. Specifically, people engaging in constitutionality-protected speech are considered peddlers and solicitors under the current ordinance. Blanket prohibitions on First Amendment protected speech are nearly always struck down by courts when challenged. A series of amendments are necessary to bring the ordinance into compliance with the law in this area. Stephen, do you want to talk about some of that?
Yeah, this is another thing that I've been working on with Deputy Supervisor Halver, and it became clear, especially during election times, that our ordinances does not match state and federal law. And basically what I mean by that is people who go out and canvass, go and talk to people at their homes or in public, were considered in our ordinance to be selling something as peddlers or solicitors, which they are not, as part of, I think, at least a dozen federal court cases, our state law, our state attorney general's opinions that have been written. And so we want to bring this ordinance up in line with all of those legal decisions. Joe, is there anything that I missed there?
No, just that, peddlers and solicitors aren't very popular. And so when it comes to ordinances of this type, it's kind of difficult to get into it and make distinctions between people who are, trying to sell you something at your door and people who are engaged in First Amendment protected speech. Whether that's, political canvassing on behalf of a charitable or religious organization. And so with these revisions, we try and kind of make those distinctions between folks who are trying to sell you something at your door and folks who are engaged in First Amendment protected speech.
So in the new ordinance, we've carved out canvassing as a separate protected area. It doesn't mean that you can't follow state law. There's still state law on no trespassing and things like that. But you are allowed to knock on someone's door, and if they refuse you, then you need to take the most direct route off of the property.
Yep, the major difference is in most ordinances and in cases that have been upheld by state and federal courts, a posting on a door or on property that says no solicitation is typically sufficient to put a potential solicitor on notice that they're not to solicit you at your home or on your property. Courts have generally upheld those posting notices for solicitors, true solicitors who have a commercial purpose of some kind, but struck them down when it comes to First Amendment protected speech. As you said, it doesn't mean you can't trespass someone from your property. You just have to, put them on notice that they're trespassed from your property if for some reason they come to your property and they won't leave.
So, yeah, I can answer any questions on this, but I hope we'll approve this tonight.
Just want to add just one quick thing. I want to answer the question from the YAC folks. I think we probably already have, but it was actually feedback from canvassers during the election season, which prompted the review of Canton's peddlers and solicitors ordinance. And upon review of the ordinance, there were sections that were found to be in conflict with court decisions in Michigan and throughout the United States, including United States Supreme Court decisions. And so we're updating the ordinance to bring it into compliance with the law in this area.
Questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, so when you're talking about canvassing, it's not just political speech. You had mentioned religious also. So.
And nonprofit.
And nonprofit. Okay.
Yes, yeah, those are the kind of protected categories that we carve out in the new ordinance. If you're soliciting for a charitable purpose, a religious purpose, or you're engaging in political speech, then you're exempt from the posting requirement of the ordinance.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you all worked on this. It's been a long time coming. Most people outside of the clerk's office are unaware, but the Canton was sued by a religious organization about 2 decades ago because we were requiring individuals who engage in door-to-door proselytizing, to register with the clerk's office and obtain a solicitor's license. And that was deemed unconstitutional. And at the time, we have a settlement agreement with that organization that's still in effect today. But we also had to amend the ordinance. And when they amended the ordinance, they still kind of kept the religious and political speech as regulated, sort of. We just didn't require them to register ahead of time. And I had always had a fear in the back of my mind that we were kind of setting ourselves up to round 2 on a lawsuit. The First Amendment is one of the things that makes America great, and I really think the Supreme Court got it right when they said if you don't want to engage in speech, you shut your door. You tell someone to go away, and it's not the role of the local government to get in between federally protected behavior like campaigning and religion. So I'm really grateful, and I think this is a smart ordinance change, and will get us out of the business of where we don't belong.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next, we have additional public comments. See if there's anyone online. If you'd like to make an additional public comment, please raise your hand electronically. You can raise your hand. I do not see any online. Anyone in the room want to make additional public comment? Thank you. Please go to the podium.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to share a few thoughts. My name is Wafa Yusuf, and I've been living in Canton for almost 20 years now. I would like to start by thanking Trustee Sneidman for his years of service. We really appreciate you. Thank you. The reason I'm here is due to some comments that were made at the previous meeting on October 22nd, and I am here as a resident of Canton. And I'm also here as a board member of Shajrat Tayyibah Holdings, which is a nonprofit organization which operated an Islamic school here for a number of years. So I won't dignify any comments that were made at the last meeting with a response. But what I would like to say, however, is that we are extremely appreciative of Canton Township to enforce its ordinances, to protect property rights both as an individual and as an organization. So thank you. We applaud the commitment of the Board of Trustees, and you have our unwavering support. So thank you very much for all that you do every single day. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Nadia Shahid, and I have been a resident of Canton for the past almost 2 decades. And thank you very much for each and every one of you, especially Mr. Sneedman. Thank you very much for everything that you have done. Canton is a very safe and peaceful and a pleasant place to live in because of all of you. Thank you very much to each and every one of the directors and the trustees and the supervisor and the clerk, every one of you. Thank you for everything that you have done for us and for our families. And I am here as a resident, as a Canton resident, and I'm here as a board member of Shajrat Tayyibah Holdings. And just like my co-director said, I am not going to dignify, I'm not here to dignify any of the comments that were made in the previous meeting on October 22nd. And we are very, very proud of our Canton Township government for taking care of everything in the right manner and for enforcing the ordinances the right way. Thank you so very much. We have operated a private school for almost 9 years in Canton. We have never had any issues. We are very, very grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all I needed to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, thank you. So now we will do administrative comments. Rochelle, do you have any comments?
No comments at this time. Thank you kindly.
Don?
Believe it or not, we're getting ready for our holiday events and programs. I don't think anybody's here is ready for that, but in the coming weeks, I'll share those activities. But many of you have seen Heritage Park here being decorated, so pretty soon the lights will be on. We'll wait till after Thanksgiving and let everybody have that first. But we look forward to a parade this year. It'll be the first of its kind that we've had here on Thursday, December 5th. And that'll help us kick off the holiday season, and we'll go from there. So we look forward to celebrating with the community.
Turkey trot is before that.
And we do have the turkey trot before that, another great Canton tradition.
Sorry, Greg.
I'll pass that on to Greg.
I was just going to mention that before he kicks off that holiday season, we are going to do the turkey trot as usual at Summit on the Park Thanksgiving morning. So hopefully we'll see all of you out there that morning. So
Thank you. Who's the turkey trot for? Who does it benefit?
the turkey trot is for the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan, and they have raised, I don't know what their total is over the years. It's got to be over $100,000 over the years that they've raised with this run and this annual tradition that's built up to usually around 1,200 runners per year. So,
A lot of fun.
exciting.
Thank you. Chad? Chief Chad?
Thank you. I just want to thank Stephen Snyderman for your work as a trustee, your diplomacy, your candid humor, especially the humor, your ability to discern information and provide the best decisions for our citizens. So, well done.
Chief Chris?
Yeah, I would echo that. We've had a great friendship, and like you said, a lot of sports talk. But it's been a pleasure working with you, and thank you for your service for our community. We couldn't have done it without you.
I was on an airplane when the field goal was being kicked on Sunday night, And there's an Instagram video of what happened on that plane when they were kicking the field goal because the stewardess started talking, the flight attendant, sorry, and screams were going on. It was quite amazing. We'll talk about it.
That was a great play.
Screams on a plane.
Director Norwood?
I also want to thank Trustee Snyderman as a new person when I came to the township. Our bike ride on the trails was certainly enlightening and enjoyable. And I look forward to engaging you further with that work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Supervisor?
I too want to thank Trustee Snyderman for his service to the Canton community, which was discussed at length here tonight, but also just for these last 3+ years that I've been here in Canton Township. You were very welcoming from the beginning, and you have this uncanny ability to take things that are complex and can be anxiety-inducing or stressful for people to discuss or resolve, simplify them, and push people towards a resolution. That's been extremely valuable, I think, to not just the board, obviously, but also to all the staff here. So thank you for your service.
Thanks, Joe.
Start on here, Tanya?
I think among all the board members, I probably know Stephen for the least amount of time, and I would say that's for the last 8 years. I met him in 2016, and I've seen, and like when I came into the board, when I was trying to run for office, he was a pretty good sounding board for me. And when I came into the office, and after getting sworn in, you get a 500-page board packet, and you really don't know how to go about it. And he walked me through it, and he told me, "Oh, you have to look at a few things here, a few things there, and just have to make decisions, and you'll get used to it." Of reading stuff like planning commission and zoning and all those things, and so he was really very helpful in doing that, and he has been my sounding board with all some of the frustrations sometimes I talk about, and grounding me and telling me, it's going to be fine. And he also gives me pretty good constructive criticism too. So I really thank you so much, Stephen. And of course, it's just you are not going to be on the seat, but we'll still be friends. Thank you for your service.
Thanks, Tanya.
Thank you, Summer?
I'm not going to be emotional. Stephen, I met you, I think it was 2011. My son was 6 years old, and I remember him calling you Spider-Man. Because he still does. He would look at your lawn signs and think that it said Spider-Man instead of Snyderman.
I don't think he ever got to vote for me, though.
He did not get to vote for you.
Didn't get to vote for Spider-Man.
And he was disappointed. I mean, he was happy to vote for Amara, but you have always been Spider-Man. I just want to thank you. I don't know that I would be sitting in this chair without you. You are an inspiration. You've always made me believe that we can do hard things, and we've done hard things working together. And I'm so grateful for you and your friendship and for your leadership in this community and as a member of this board. I wish you all of the best, even though I know I'm going to talk to you still probably 1,000 times a week. But I wish you all of the best. You definitely deserve a break. You have done so much for this community over the years, and I'm going to miss working with you.
Me too. Thanks.
Michael?
First, I want to thank the treasurer's office for helping out the day after the election. We were closed in the clerk's office, and any residents who came in and needed assistance they went directly to the treasurer's office. And Tuesday was a busy day, and so we needed that on Wednesday. But we couldn't have done that without Diane and her team. So thank you for that. Thank you to we had over 300 people in the community work as poll workers this year. And what I love about that is that the elections belong to the people, and they're the ones who run it. It's not really me. And it's one of the most beautiful things. And so I'm very grateful to the over 300 poll workers who administer the elections for their friends and their neighbors. And on top of that, all the township employees who volunteered their time to work the elections, and then those of who helped us put the election on in their official capacity as well. Human Resources does a lot of work to help us with the election. Finance does a lot to help us with the election. This year, Public Safety, Police and Fire did a lot to help us with the elections. We didn't need you, thank God. But you were there nonetheless, and we were prepared for everything. So very grateful, and I'm grateful to this board because we would not be in the position that we were if we didn't have a pro-voter, pro-democracy board of trustees. And so it says a lot to all of you. So thank you for that. The ballot drop box at the summit is going to be converted to a Letters to Santa drop box, which
Yay.
means election season is over. There will be no more updates about elections from me, probably for 2 more years. But if you got young ones, send a letter in for Santa. I've got 2 little ones. I'll be doing that. It's a really cool thing that Canton Township does. They'll get a response back. Steven Snyderman. When I have to give prepared remarks, I always reach out to Steven because he's one of the most eloquent speakers I've ever met in my entire life. But I am very impulsive, and so typically I talk off the cuff. But Steven is very deliberate and intentional in his remarks, but in lots of things in life. And I did not prepare remarks tonight.
But I have some here for you to
I'm
read.
sure you would. In 2006,
Remarks for all of us to make about you.
18 years ago, I remember when you ran for school board for the first time. And the reason I voted for you in that election is so trivial, but I was young. It was, I was a cruiser. And that was like the only reason I voted for you was because I was a cruiser and you had, just been running that organization. And it meant a lot to me because I think most of my childhood, the cruisers, taught me how to win, taught me how to lose, taught me how to build friendships, taught me how to disagree with people without being disagreeable. Taught me how to strive hard towards something, that sometimes it might go my way, sometimes it might not go my way. And I think more people in our society need to learn those lessons. And I think there's lots of people who you touched in that role. And that's why I voted for you for school board.
In every election after that?
And then I finally got to meet you when you ran for trustee. And I got to serve with you. I got to meet you when I ran for school board. And I got to serve with you for the last 8 years. And I frequently think of you as a mentor. But you're also a friend. And what I have learned so much from you. And I'm very grateful for your service to the community. But the resolution explains the myriad ways that you've given back to the community of Canton Township, and I will be forever grateful for that as a resident, as somebody who's raising my kids here, as another elected official. But I'm personally grateful because you taught me how to be a leader. You have taught me how to listen. You have taught me personally how to be a man, how to be a father. You are a good person. You are the person who we reach out to when things seem extremely difficult and there's no clear path forward, when individuals or groups are struggling to see eye to eye, to get along. You are uniquely qualified to bring people together and to smooth those things out. And that is also a skill that we have a deficit for in today's society. So the fact that you are leaving public life in the official capacity makes me very sad. The fact that I have your phone number makes me very happy.
I'll still do it, but at consultant rates.
That sounds good. But yes, I'm very grateful to you as a person and as the clerk in Canton, as somebody who you have taught many things. Thank you for
Thank you.
everything, Stephen.
Thanks, Michael.
Good job on the election, and thank you to everybody who helped. And Stephen, oh, I'm going to miss you so much. But you are my neighbor, so I will be knocking on your door. I have known Stephen for a long time. He was the Fox Run Homeowner Association president, very active and took that very seriously, which I appreciate. That is a tough job. His children went to Isbister with my children. His daughter and my daughter were reading buddies together. He was active at Isbister and then with the Plymouth Canton Community Schools, and then on the school board. And then we hit the pavement in 2012 together.
Well, I did it for you in 2010
That's
together.
right. You
but
helped
then-
me in 2010 and then in 2012. And then from then on, we were hitting the pavement together, moving forward, and it's been a pleasure working with you. I appreciate all the help you've done, and you have been truly, your sense of humor is wonderful on this board, but you have been truly thoughtful and calming to this board, and truly helpful in that, because at times we need it, and that will be missed. So I'm going to
Thank
miss
you,
you so
Diane.
much. Yes.
Me too.
Okay.
So a while ago, I don't think I ever told you this. Well, I have to address one thing.
Knew this was coming.
Yeah, you knew it. He's older than I am. But Esteban, as I like to call you, you don't maybe know this, but I think it was like 2010 or so. I went to a school board meeting, and I spoke at the school board meeting. It was the first time I'd ever done that. It was the first time I'd ever spoken at any meeting, really. And I was kind of freaked out, and I was just in awe. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Stephen Snyderman. And all these people on the school board who are like just amazing people. And when I sat down from speaking, my legs were shaking and they shook for 10 minutes afterwards. So
Was I nice to you?
you were fine.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know who I was. But anyway, I think I've been in awe of you ever since. And I can say for sure that I wouldn't be here without you. And I'm going to miss you. a lot. I'm going to miss venting, but hopefully I can still do that. Keep bugging you.
That's fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, you've been a calming force on the board, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your diplomacy. I will say, as your treasurer, I really need a raise.
You did, as my campaign treasurer, yeah.
Yes. I want 2 times the 0 that you pay me.
You got it.
Okay. Anyway, don't be a stranger.
I'll be back. Standing up there.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no.
fine. I don't even mind if you're complaining about us.
No, I would never.
So before Stephen goes out, we will just say a couple things. So we had a Veterans Day celebration yesterday, so it was Happy Veterans Day to all those veterans out there. That went very well. It was very touching. There was a man who spoke, a keynote speaker, and it's interesting because he spoke about alternative energies for some of the saying instead of taking pills, he talked about he worked with Patch Adams. Do you guys remember Patch Adams? Robin Williams played him in a movie. He actually helps the veterans through clowning or yoga or things like that. So it was a very good presentation, how he talked about how he helps some people going through PTSD. So that was a nice time. It was a great election day. It was nice. It was safe, so congratulations. It was seamless and no issues. I think congratulations, Michael. Another great job doing that. Thank you for everybody that helped, all of our employees and volunteers. And Stephen, we are going to miss you. I know all the times I've called you whenever I've had like a complicated business model or something, or saying, how do we put this together? How do we make this happen? Like the responsible contracting, you were able to talk me through and say, well, let's try this, let's this. And it always worked. You did a great job, and I really will still be calling you. I will be, because you've helped me a lot, and you've been a force on this board and in this township, no matter what you did. And so we really look forward to working with you still. You're not done. You're going to be on the partnership board. So
I am. You'll see me around.
You're still going to be working with us. And while you are retiring, we have Amara Ansari here, who did win her election, and she'll be joining us. She'll be stepping up and taking your seat, and I'm sure she'll be calling you a lot, as she has said. But I would like to ask you if you would like to take us out with an adjournment after your next speech.
Yeah. But I will just say thank you for honoring me here tonight. It's been great, and I've enjoyed my time in this room, and I am looking forward to seeing what you all do next. I'm going to be your biggest fan. So with that, can we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved?
Motion made
There you
by
go.
Supervisor Graham Hudak and supported by Trustee Ganguly. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's go to Shakers.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.